Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening to you all. I'm Akandinda Catherine. I'm your host tonight for the second episode of the Green Talk Show 2023. Yeah, we are glad to have you all with us, all of you watching live from wherever you are. And I hope you've all had a wonderful week. Yeah, work. Some have had a lot of work, others have had ups and downs. But we are grateful to God that we are all able to be here. And once you have life, yeah, you have to keep being optimistic. Like there is a lot more you should be expecting. Don't lose hope. Don't lose it. Yeah. Tonight, we shall be, of course, going on. This being the second episode of the Green Talk Show, the first one, this entire year, we are talking about food forests for schools, and that's the project we are going to concentrate on this year. So yeah, we are glad to have you all on board. You all need to pull up your socks, you join us. It will not just be for planting trees for food. I mean, sometime back the UN passed the SDGs. I mean, we are also gonna embrace that, embrace sustainability, corporate social responsibility, food security, all that. Actually it all falls under sustainability and also the finance side of it. I mean, because when you grow food you can sell it and get money. So yeah, there is a lot we are going to benefit from this project. Having these online sessions, it's for educative purposes, but the project is going on. It's going on already. We are already planting those trees in schools, those food trees. So we decided to have that, but we also had this to teach people more about food forests and yeah. And today with us is our mom. Our She has been with us, our supporter. To most of us, I mean, we can look up to her, and to most of my fellow young girls out there. I mean, we are growing. These are the people we should look up to. So tonight with us is Dr. Karisa Chiragu. She has been with us. She has been with us for the past 2 years, if I may say. And let me welcome her to have something to say to us. We are really glad to have you, Mommy, and we are we can't wait to listen to whatever you have to tell us. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here and to be with you and the audience. You are doing amazing things. And Ismail, who I met, I think it's 5 years ago or something like that, Ismail. And just to say the power that you bring and the motivation that you bring, not just for the young people, but for all of us, it is just really exciting. I'm just so happy to be among you. So thank you so much for inviting
You're
me.
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So that's we've heard from Mommy, and we are going to have to hear from her more and more tonight. And trust me, we are so excited and we can't wait. So I would like to introduce the Food Forests project for schools that we are going to base on as my tree initiative this year. As we can know, there is a lot of food insecurity, and yeah, all over the world, not just based on Africa, all over the world. And as time goes on, the world is developing. So in everything we are doing, we we are looking at minimizing waste as we are gaining value. So looking at the project of planting trees, but food trees in schools, uh, food tree, besides every other purpose, we all know those purposes of trees. We've had them over time, but now we are also going to provide food, which food can be sold, and also people gain money from it, which money they will use to add on to themselves. Um, yeah, so that's what the project is mainly about tonight and for this entire year. So, and our mommy being a member of the UN, I may say, you know more about what I'm talking about, how sustainability is. I mean, in this generation and the years to come, if you're not being sustainable, because if we embrace sustainability right now, it's going to save us a lot in the future. So, mommy probably knows what I'm talking about right now. It's an eye-opener. Ever since I got to know about this sustainability thing, each and every day I'm yearning to know more and more about it. And then I be like, okay, I wish I knew this like those days when I was still young. That means I would have wasted a little, like less things than I've wasted till I've grown till now. So, mommy, you're welcome, and you're going to tell us what you recommend about our project and what's your say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much again, Kathy. So the whole issue that the effort globally is around the sustainable development goals. Um, in other words, how is it that we can sustain our progress in a number of goals? It's not just a matter of arriving at them, but it's being able to sustain them. For example, if you're looking at the goal around sustaining health, and I think this is where we come in, there are many other areas: reducing poverty, improving industrialization and development, addressing climate change. There are 17 goals that the UN has agreed to focus on. These sustainable development goals, we abbreviate them as SDGs, are the ones that guide globally the whole movement as within the UN. All this information, of course, is available online, and it is up to it's working within each country to prioritize and to address the goals that they want to highlight, depending, because the goals that we have perhaps in a country like Uganda may be very different from the goals that there might be in a country like, I don't know, Brazil, or might be very different from another country. So but it's part of a global movement, all with the spirit of making sure, or at least accelerating the conversations, the actions, the decisions, and the political and social will to make sure that we all, our countries, as much as possible, can move forward towards this important goal. So that's what I would say, and it's great
Okay.
that you are involved in it. Well done.
Okay. We are getting some messages from our viewers tonight, and they are really glad to be part of the show, and they are really glad to hear from you. And I would like to
Thank
tell
you.
our viewers that some of our guest speakers had to be with us, but they are a little bit inconvenienced, and yeah, with their apologies. For instance, Dr. Sabrina has lost a mother. May her mother's soul rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, we pray for
Dr.
you.
Dr. Antonio will join us shortly. And then Emmy is caught up in traffic. We also hope she joins us shortly. So to go on, I would like to ask you a few questions since you're alone, and I don't want like to really strain you. So I'll be like brief and short, and I know still it will be the best. Yeah. So my first question is, what would you say is the role of the youth in building food forests?
So thank you so much, Kathy, for that question. The role of youth. The
Okay.
role of youth in these issues is the role of youth everywhere, and
Okay.
I would say that young people have. Uh, there's a bit of background noise. I don't know if you can hear me well. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, excellent. Um, for me, from where I sit as in my personal life, and let me just say, I'm not speaking for UNAIDS or the UN. I'm speaking about my experiences myself as having worked through. Is to say that we young people are part of the very significant role of development. The one thing I say about young people is they ask the tough questions. So, what is the role of youth? Part of it is to learn and to be part of society, but I also feel it's part of youth to ask questions because we cannot be, as a society, be stuck in just one way of doing things. Somebody else can come and say, hey, how about this? And hey, how about that? If you really look back about the role of youth in terms of changing the way we think, even for you, what you're doing now, the communication that you're having, the drive that you're having, the creativity. I'm always very amazed when I speak with Ishmael and he's telling me about what you're doing, what you're planting trees, what all this is, this is what moves society forward. The movement of society going forward is not just dependent on adults, and young people are just wait until it happens. Young people have ideas, they have new information, they have innovations, they have different ways of doing things. And for me, I think the adults must be willing to learn, must be willing to change, and must be willing to absorb the young people. And after all, the young people are our children, and we must be able to listen to them. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm thinking I may have lost communication. So let me try and call Ismail now. I'm going to go off camera.
Yeah, thank you all for for tuning in. I'm seeing Banika Joseph. representation you're following. Thank you all. Please keep tuned in. Yeah, doctor had some bits of issues with network. So did I, but I'm now like, yeah, I'm now back. So doctor,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry to inconvenience you and take you a little backward. Yeah,
That's
you were
okay.
still telling us the role of the youth in building food forests, and I think that's where we both got distracted from. I'm kindly requesting you to re-echo that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kathy. And technology is what it is. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It's okay.
Mhm.
In the end, we get things done. Um, the point I was trying to make is that young people really have a huge contribution. And I would say this in a serious way, not a cliche about young people are the future. I really, that one I can agree. Young people are the future, but young people are the present. And what you're doing, bringing this conversation for young people to hear you and to provide an opportunity for young people to engage and contribute and bring ideas. This is how we progress as society, is by listening to different voices. So I would say that when it comes to young people and their role in development, in their role in progress, we should not underestimate what young people do. After all, if you look in the world and you see the role, I don't know how one defines young people. Sometimes they are defined as people under the age of 25 years of age. um, Already there's a lot of progress that you can even look at and you can see. So I would say, young people, please just keep going, have faith and have confidence in yourselves. You are, we all, many of us were older, were there. So just keep going and believe in yourselves.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, good thing. One of the things sustainability calls for is also flexibility. So we may be talking about food forests today, but yeah, we are glad to have Dr. Carissa tell us about motivate us as the young people, and also since she's well informed about mental health, I think she can also tell us on how young people like when you look at these days, people tend to get overwhelmed and frustrated. Again, when you're so ambitious, which is good, you tend to want things, to work there and then, and in case they do not work out how you expect, you actually lose morale and first move backward. So as we are on this project of food forests, we also need that encouragement, ma'am. So I would request you to also talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Thank you again, Kathy. The issue of flexibility is, because I think as young people, still learning, still adjusting. And by the way, this does not stop in among young people. You can say maybe the subjects you're taking in school, the flexibility, you can do this, you can do that. At some point, you have to decide and say, okay,
Yeah.
fine, so I'm going to do this subject and that. So there's some flexibility, but at some point, one has to decide. And it's okay. Part of the things that you're learning in the schools, in the university, is helping you decide how to do these things. And the same applies to flexibility in other ways. Careers, for example, you
Mm.
could say that I want to be in this career, but it does not mean that therefore today's Monday, let's say, or today's actually Friday. So maybe, next Friday you want to change. No, flexibility is not like that. Flexibility is thinking through what you're doing and being able to adjust, but give yourself the time to learn, analyze what you're doing and think about it, and then you can change. It does not mean that you have to change the minute you think about it. It could be that give don't don't lose hope, don't lose trust in yourself. give yourself the time to learn, because as well, part of you, even your job, when you enter a job, there will need to be some level of flexibility. Maybe get a different boss. You cannot leave because now you have a different boss. So there's an element of adjusting to flexibility, and don't be afraid about it. Give yourself the time, but don't be uncomfortable. Don't feel bad about it. Give yourself the space. In relation to the mental health and well-being, it's really important for one to know themselves and to trust themselves. I'm not a mental health specialist, but I know that a lot of what we do is influenced by where we are mentally, and mental health is no different than physical health and other aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
And mental health does not mean that one is going crazy. It just means that one is questioning things, and there should be space for that. Questioning without going and thinking that they're doing something wrong, and just finding someone that they can turn to for support and for being able to lean on them. But mental health is part of physical health as well.
Yeah, because what you do in the physical all starts with within you. It all starts from within you.
Yes, that's
So
correct. That's
so
correct.
it's inevitable to have good mental health, and yeah,
Yeah, I wish Dr. Sabrina was here. And if at this point I may just say how sad I am to learn about her mom's passing.
yeah,
It's we keep family in our prayers, and her mom has decorated the world that we live in, and we should see her as having decorated our lives.
yeah. We have a plan for her, planting for her memorial tree.
Wonderful,
What we are going to
wonderful,
do as my tree initiative.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Count me
Yeah.
in. Wonderful.
Oh wow, thank you so much. So and then I'll go on to the next question. What is the approach to the UN in addressing and promoting youth-led movements to address challenges such as food security, climate change, mental health, and well-being? I think you had already echoed about mental health and well-being, so let's now talk about food security and climate change.
Yeah. So the issue of the UN, and I'm not speaking for the UN, I am speaking as myself as someone who has been involved in the UN and other organizations, is just to recognize that the approach is that to encourage and build and support young people. This whole idea and the concept of youth development is so important. Positive youth development is so important, that young people truly say they're the leaders of tomorrow. It is not a cliche. It is to say this is what it is. And if
Yeah,
you're even to just look and say, you don't have to be a youth innovator who has changed the world, and now we can look and we can say, oh my goodness, I wish I could be that person. But it's more to recognize that we are all working to raise our children, develop our children, help our children, and work with our children and invest in our children. If youth were not our future, then there would be probably no schools, there would be no universities, there'd be no. So for me, I feel as if the issue of the role of youth is a given, and some youth may stand out more than others, but the point is still there, that society builds itself on the young people. It's the job of the adults to help the young people to become better than we were, to move us forward. but it's not young people to feel like they are on their own. So it's
Yeah.
really part of our survival.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. And now we shall welcome a little bit, a few questions from the audience. If there is anyone who would love to ask about anything, probably I've not talked about each and everything, I've not exploited it all, so probably there is someone there who feels like they have something, that is maybe a burning question, or they want to learn about something. Learning never ends.
This is
So
true.
yeah, I welcome you all from the audience. Anyone with a question, kindly, you can go on and ask. Yeah. So as we are waiting for the questions, we are glad to have you, Doctor. And yeah, so Doctor is streaming live from Switzerland, and yeah, so now we are still, now this is the advantage of technology. We don't have to be there with her to talk to her. We can still talk to her, and we are very, very far away from her. So we are glad to have you, Doctor, and we are glad and we really appreciate you. And we are hoping to work with you more and more and more and more.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah. So the first question is from Monica Joseph. He says, Doctor, thanks a lot for your time and we appreciate your knowledge sharing. So the question is, how is balanced diet connected to mental health? How can schools and outside communities keep students engaged in building up sustainable environment with food and better health?
That's a very important question, and thank you for that. Let me just begin by saying that Dr. Sabrina would have been the most ideal person to answer that question. But
Yeah,
if you just indulge me with that caveat in mind, in terms
yeah, we
of
believe you can.
yeah, in terms of mental health and the role of and schools and how they can continue to support mental health, already schools provide a lot of support from mental health. Just having a place for young people to gather, to learn, to understand, to have a space among themselves, they get a lot of skills from each other. That is really, really critical from a point of view of mental health. When it comes to food, it becomes even more important. And that is why, in many places, they try to create space for children to eat together. Sometimes they have food programs where the children can get nutritious food. But the whole point about mental health is being together, learning together, um, and also being able to get nutrition in terms of good nutrition, good food. So I know the work you're doing with the food forests becomes part of this, but it's part of the process of making sure that children are together and are feeling cared for and are feeling loved.
All right. Solomon Anomet Ojay says, thanks, Doctor, for sharing. There is something that young people go through, and that is conflicts in between the elderly people and us, the young people, where you can be surprised to be referred to as an overqualified person for a certain position in job access. So the elderly challenge young people, and this keeps the motivation low. And some projects too are not approved because young people could be behind a given project. Do you think this conflict can push us further when we as young people are, he didn't finish, that's why he stopped, but yeah.
I hear him. I hear what Solomon is saying. If I may speak to that. again, I'm not an expert in this area, so I'm just giving my thoughts and my
Yeah.
experiences.
But
Is that
you see, you're a parent, so you know you're really experienced with children. So
true? True,
that
true,
enough is enough.
true, true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. Is that it is true that a young person like Solomon is explaining may be looking for that job, but they cannot get that job because the older person is sitting on it. In some countries, what they say they if for people in formal employment, let's say by the government or by other industries, they will say that you can only work up until a certain age. It's called the age of retirement, and then after that you have to leave. Why do you have to leave? Because the young people have to come in. If someone, an older person, can work up until they are 80 or 90, it means that the young person behind them cannot begin working in employment until they are maybe 40 or 30 or 40, which means between that time the young person has to find something to do,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship and private business. So some
Yeah.
of these things are, it's true, they are complicated, it's difficult. At the same time, I would say the older person is the one who's probably needs the job because they have to support the children. They still maybe have 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old children at home, and those also need help. It's a bit of
Yeah.
attention, but these things are normally done by governments to be able to address some of those limitations and guidance.
Okay. So far, those are the only questions we have, and yeah, that we've gotten. I don't know if maybe there is someone who is still asking, but yeah, the talk show still goes on. I think till the end of this year, because I mean the project has to go on for this entire year. So, Doctor, we shall truly be grateful if you accept to join us on and on again over time, because you've joined us before and we've had an amazing experience with you. You don't know some of us, but we've spent some good time in the initiative and we know you. So, yeah, but it's always an amazing experience because trust me, it's a motherly experience more than just, hosting you and you tell us, but you give us that motherly feeling. And we are super grateful for that. And we would love to have you more and more and more and more.
Well, thank you so much, Kathy. I will say that the discussions I used to have with Ismail and Anja and just talking about their ideas, I would never have thought that they would have taken it to this level. And this is one of the reasons I am so confident about young people, because as an adult, as a mother, one can plant a seed and one does not know how a Kathy will take it. One does not know how an Ishmael will take it, an Ashraf will take it. And to me, this is the life of the young people. Is just creating the space, having communication with them, and then they take it to now where we are. So thank you, Kathy. I feel very privileged and humbled and honored to be part of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and we are more humbled. I'm seeing someone planting trees is asking, where do you see my tree initiative in the next 5 years?
Is that for me or is that for you,
I
Kathy?
think it can, like you who has seen it grow, maybe you should answer the question. You should tell them,
Absolutely. The sky is the limit. My tree
right?
initiative, from what I have seen, is not just about planting trees, but it's about building a movement and community engagement about for young people. It happens to be about trees, food forests. But this is a foundation that can be used for so many other ideas. So, your young people who have come together to do the My Tree initiative are doing it as My Tree, but it can also work in many other ways. The movement in 5 years from now, My Tree initiative is how old? Is it 4 years,
Like
5 years?
4 years now.
4 years now. Look at you,
Yeah.
look at what you're doing. Look at Kathy, she's here. Look at Ishma, look at the others. I always watch the things that you're doing, the companies you've brought together, the corporations, just out of a group of committed young people. So to the speak
Right.
to the question now, what are we doing? What can you do? Look at these Ugandan young people. They're doing amazing things. The sky is the limit.
Yeah, sure. And being a member of Maitri Initiative for quite a good time, I would like to tell everyone out there that, yeah, we are really sprouting. We are like, a seed that is growing but sprouting. I mean, it's nonstop for us. And yeah, in the next 5 years, you guys will just be testifying about us. And I urge you all to join us. I mean, let's grow together. We've not only planted trees, we've learned a lot. We've built like friends. We've made friends. And what's life without friends? And friends who are older than us. When you're old, you can learn from the young, and even when you're young, you can learn from the old. So, like, it helps you see the world in a different view. Helps you not to give up about life. I urge you all to join my tree initiative. Yeah, we are sprouting.
Thank you. You should tell
Um,
them what My Tree stands for, um, about your own tree and how to nurse that tree. But I love your acronym, My Tree Initiative. It's fantastic.
yeah, it now zeroes down to you personally. After us just planting trees worldwide and all that, it zeroes down to you personally. You're going to plant this tree and you'll be happy tomorrow. You're seeing it grow. You're seeing it, and you look at it, leave alone whatever you're gaining from it. You look at it and you be like, I actually have done something on my own. Isn't that a good feeling?
I agree.
So
I agree. Yeah, and I think Ishmael has said in the past, like when you sit under a tree for shade, somebody planted that tree. Or when you get that mango
yeah,
from the tree, someone planted that. Avocado, someone planted that. Uganda is very rich. Someone planted those things.
yeah. And I personally am a living testimony. Growing up, I had never ever thought of getting like a tree and then I plant it and then I see it grow. So of late, for some of the trees I've planted, when I look at them, yeah, someone else there may feel like it's just a tree, but when you look at something and this is something I've done on my own, and yeah, it encourages you to actually run after bigger and bigger things. And if I did this, I can do this.
Um, I will leave you, but before I leave, I just wanted to maybe say one small is that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, because that is how long it takes for some trees to grow. The next best time, if you missed 20 years ago, is now. So
Yeah.
it's never too late. It is never too late.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Doctor. We are glad to have you, and we need to have you more and more and more. And thanks
Thank
for
you.
that motherly love that you already showed to my tree initiative.
Thank you so much. And God bless you all. And again,
Amen.
thank
God
you so
bless you
much for
too.
the privilege. Thank you so much. And
Thank you
well,
too.
keep going. Thank you so much. God
All
bless.
right.
All
Okay.
right.
God bless you too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Um. So that was our show with Dr. Carissa. She has been part of my tree initiative for quite some good time for like the past 3 years. Let's say from 2020, yeah, from 2020 to now. And she's still part and she's still supporting us. There is no point in time when she has not supported us. And I thank you all for joining in and tuning in and listening. And I believe you've actually learned a lot. And I pledge you all that from whatever you've learned, don't stop at just listening to it. Go out there, implement it, and yeah, our project, our food project, food forests for schools rather project is still going on. Yeah, and it's gonna be massive this year. I urge you all to join us, and yeah, we are embracing sustainability. Yeah, that's the biggest thing of it all, because we are providing food, we are providing shelter. From all that, it's embracing climate change, mental health and well-being, financial stability, food security. So, guys, it's really going to be a big, big project. A lot to learn from it, and yeah, thank you all for joining in. Yeah. Keep safe and good night to you all.